Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase someone, the further they seem to pull away? It happens in friendships, relationships, workplaces, and even business. You send another message, offer another favor, make another sacrifice, hoping they'll finally appreciate you. Instead, they become colder, slower to respond, or simply start taking you for granted. It feels unfair, but psychology explains why. The truth is that constantly chasing people doesn't prove your loyalty. It often lowers your perceived value. Today, we'll explore why walking away is one of the most powerful things you can do, not to manipulate others, but to protect your confidence and earn genuine respect. Imagine two friends. One is always the first to text, always making plans, always apologizing after every disagreement, even when they did nothing wrong. The other cares just as much but knows when to step back. If someone repeatedly ignores them, they don't beg for attention. They continue living their life. Which person seems more confident? Which one feels more valuable? Most people instinctively respect the second person because confidence is communicated through actions, not words. Human psychology is deeply influenced by value and scarcity. We naturally appreciate things that aren't constantly available. This doesn't only apply to money or possessions, it also applies to time, attention, and emotional energy. When someone gives unlimited access to themselves without expecting mutual effort, people slowly begin treating that access as ordinary. Not because they're evil, but because the human brain adapts quickly to whatever becomes constant. Think about your favorite restaurant. If every meal suddenly became free forever, would you still appreciate it the same way after a year? Probably not. Familiarity often reduces appreciation unless effort is involved. Relationships work similarly. When someone constantly chases, they unintentionally remove the need for the other person to invest. One of the biggest misconceptions is believing that love, friendship, or respect can be earned through endless sacrifice. Many people grow up thinking, if I'm nice enough, helpful enough, or patient enough, people will eventually choose me. While kindness is important, self-abandonment is not. Healthy relationships are built on mutual effort, not one person carrying the entire connection. Picture a workplace where one employee always volunteers for extra tasks. They stay late every evening, cover everyone else's shifts, and never complain. At first, everyone praises their dedication. Months later, that extra effort becomes expected instead of appreciated. Suddenly, saying no feels selfish because everyone has grown comfortable with unlimited availability. This is how many people accidentally train others to overlook their value. Walking away doesn't mean becoming cold or arrogant. It means recognizing when your effort is no longer being matched. It means understanding that your energy is valuable and shouldn't be wasted trying to convince someone to see your worth. Confidence grows when your actions align with your self-respect. There's another psychological reason chasing rarely works. People are naturally drawn toward emotional stability. Someone who panics every time a text goes unanswered or constantly seeks reassurance sends a signal of insecurity. On the other hand, someone who remains calm, continues focusing on their own goals, and refuses to let another person's attention determine their happiness appears emotionally grounded. That quiet stability is attractive because it communicates inner strength. The irony is that people often stop chasing only after realizing they deserve better. The moment they focus on improving themselves instead of seeking validation, everything begins changing. They stand taller, speak with more confidence, and stop over-explaining their decisions. Others notice this shift almost immediately because genuine confidence cannot be faked. It comes from believing your worth isn't determined by who chooses to stay. So how do you actually stop chasing people without becoming distant or uncaring? It begins with changing your mindset. Instead of asking, how can I make them choose me? Ask, are they showing the same effort I'm giving? That single question changes everything. Healthy relationships aren't built on convincing someone to care. They're built on two people choosing each other consistently. Another powerful habit is learning to become comfortable with silence. Many people rush to fill every gap. If someone doesn't reply, they send another message. If a conversation feels awkward, they over-explain. If someone seems upset, they immediately assume they're at fault. But silence isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's simply space. People who remain calm instead of reacting impulsively demonstrate emotional maturity, and that maturity naturally earns respect. Boundaries also play a huge role. A boundary isn't a wall that pushes people away, it's a standard that protects your peace. Saying, "I can't make it tonight," or "I'm not comfortable with that," doesn't make you selfish. It tells people your time, energy, and values matter. Ironically, those who respect themselves usually receive more respect from others because they've shown exactly how they expect to be treated. Think about someone you genuinely admire. Chances are they aren't desperately trying to impress everyone they meet. They listen more than they speak. They don't argue over every disagreement. They don't beg for attention or chase people who clearly aren't interested. Their confidence comes from knowing they can enjoy someone's company without depending on it. That's emotional independence, and it's one of the strongest forms of confidence a person can develop. Of course, walking away isn't always easy. Maybe you've invested years into a friendship that has become one-sided. Maybe you've stayed in a relationship hoping someone would finally change. Maybe you've spent months trying to prove yourself at work without receiving the same respect in return. Letting go feels painful because it means accepting that effort alone cannot force someone to value you. But sometimes the hardest decision becomes the healthiest one. Walking away doesn't always mean ending the relationship forever. Sometimes it simply means stepping back and allowing the other person to decide whether they want to meet you halfway. If they do, you've created room for a healthier connection. If they don't, you've saved yourself from wasting even more time chasing something that was never balanced in the first place. If this video changed the way you think, let me know in the comments. Have you ever walked away from someone who took you for granted? Share your experience, leave a like if you found value in today's lesson, and subscribe to Inspire 2BO for more psychology and self-improvement videos that help you build confidence, stronger relationships, and an unstoppable mindset. I'll see you in the next one.